again, sizing up Murphy. Drives, floats, hangs, and scores on the turnaround. J-Dub way behind the three-point line and hits way behind the three-point line. Got blocked. What a rejection by Holmgren. Standing tall like a wall.
This is Lu Dort. You're listening to the Uncontested.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Uncontested Postgame Show, part of the Blue Wire Podcast Network and proudly sponsored by Prairie Artisan Ales. I'm your host on this Wednesday evening, JD Silva. Going solo tonight. Gonna dig into a fun one. We just watched an insane comeback, an insane fourth quarter. It'll be a lot of fun. Before we dig into that game, though, be sure to subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. Leave us a 5-star rating if you have not done so already. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, etc. You can also check out our Patreon by scanning this QR code up here at the top left of your screen if you're watching the YouTube stream or on Twitter. You can also click the link in the description of this podcast if you're listening afterwards. Get access to our Discord, get access to some extra episodes, some Discord-only watch parties. We have a lot of fun in there. I damn near jinxed, because of the Discord, I damn near jinxed this entire game. Those who know, and we'll move on from there. I'm going to break down this game for a little bit. And then I reached out to the Discord and asked for some mailbag questions because, to be honest, I thought this game was going to be a stinker in the opposite. I mean, I thought the Thunder were going to blow them out and it was going to be an easy game. So I was like, hey guys, send me some questions. I'm sure we'll have a lot of time to kill. And yeah, no, this game was really ugly for a while. The Thunder did not look up for this game. It was kind of a well, their bags are already packed for All-Star weekend. They're ready to go. They're not gonna try. These games happen to every team, even title-winning teams. These kind of games happen where they're not up for it. And the Thunder weren't up for it for the first half and a lot of the third quarter, and then they end up winning 115-101. But the story of the game is the fourth quarter. Matt Noonan in the chat says it. The Miami Heat were held to 8 points in the fourth quarter. 8. Tweet from our guy Nick Gallo. 21. He says Kenrich Williams was his third three of the game, and it gives OKC an 11-point lead with 7:02 remaining. OKC is on a 21-0 run over the first 5 minutes of the fourth quarter. Held Miami to 0 of 6 shooting and 5 turnovers to start the frame. Saw a graphic. Miami, at the start of the fourth, was up 93-83 with 6 minutes left in the fourth. The score was 93-107. 24-point swing for OKC there. I was told there'd be no math, but I just did some. So, how about that? Miami scores 38 paint points in the first half. I think they scored 8 or 10 in the entire second half. I mean, what the hell happened in this one? It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. Every saying you can think of where the first, it was a tale of two halves in this one. It was my first line item of my notes as I was going through was, this feels like a game before the All-Star break. The Bulls lost by like 50 points last night. Thunder weren't going to do that, but they came out lackadaisical, not locked in, and it was understandable. Thunder were down by 20 points at one point. Somehow only down by 11 at halftime. Caruso goes down again, and I'm like, well, it's one of those nights. It's one of those nights. SGA picks up his fourth foul pretty early into the third. J-Dub's having a really rough night at that point. You just think it's kind of over. And it just wasn't. J-Dub, props to him. He stepped up big to kind of start swinging the momentum in the Thunder's favor to close the third. He was hitting tough shot after tough shot. I'm sure you'll see some highlights. It was awesome. People in the comments, Jacob Niffentera says, what happened to Caruso? He has hip tightness. I didn't see what happened exactly. I don't know if he fell or feel free to correct me in the chat if you guys saw something that happened exactly. But hip tightness was the the diagnosis. You guys feel free to ask questions in the chat. I'll be reading this throughout as well. We're just hanging out, breaking down a game that was unexpectedly fun. Only one more game to go till All-Star Weekend against the Timberwolves tomorrow. Chet will be back for that one, we assume. He's going to bring some much-needed energy because, it'll be a Sega Baba. The Timberwolves also played tonight, and Ant did not play well. So that'll be a fun one, a really fun one. Nick Jordan Jr. says it's becoming a new segment. What happened to Caruso? Sports music plays. Yeah, his bones might be made of like just aluminum foil. It's tough. We just need him to play a really intense 20 minutes, all right, in the playoffs. Please give us that, Caruso. We will see. Let's go over the box score. I'm thinking of who we got to give out our King of the Prairie. And there's a lot of guys I could give it to be honest. SGA always gets King of the Prairie. Always. He's the MVP. Best player on the team. Always carries it. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give our Prairie Artisan Ales King of the Prairie award to none other than Kenrich Williams, who finished with 14 points, plus 14 on the night, 4 rebounds, 3 of 5 from 3. He was just, when they went on that crazy run in the fourth quarter, he was the catalyst for so many defensive plays and hit threes as well. But his energy was so helpful. That's why Kenrich is around. This was like, he reminded all of us why he's still on the team, why you can't trade that guy. He is such a culture setter, a tone setter, brings so much energy that sometimes the team can be lacking. He brings like a physicality that they don't always have if they're missing Chet. Like Chet is that guy. Hartenstein's that guy. But a lot of the wings are more finesse style players. Aaron Wiggins, Isaiah Joe, those are more finesse guys. But good God, Kenny Hustle was hustling tonight, to say the least. So shout out to him. You get the King of the Prairie award. Shout out to Prairie Artisan Ales, by the way. Excellent beer. They do trivia every week. New beers every Friday, I believe. Ton of good stuff right now. I keep drinking Buzzer Beater. I can't get enough of it. Not drinking anything tonight. Drinking some tea. I actually it was the start of the fourth quarter. I went to make some tea because I needed like a little bit of caffeine to keep me going here. I've been up for a long time. And during those 5 minutes, basically, the Thunder went on their insane run. And I was like seeing it happen on Twitter. It just happened so quickly. But it was awesome. Awesome stuff. Shout out to Kenny. Great game from him. The Thunder are just so good. This was like some of the ugliest basketball I've seen from them in a while in the first half. And a lot of the third. But with this team, if you let your foot off the gas even a little bit, they will snatch that victory away from you. They will completely expose you. You just can't let up. You can't. And Miami's a really well-coached team. Like Spo was coaching his ass off for most of this game, and they were playing really well. And it was just over all of a sudden. Like Bam had an awesome night. 27 points for him, 14 for Hero. Andrew Wiggins, the Thunder killer, held to 4 of 12. How about that? It makes also Andrew Wiggins number 22, Aaron Wiggins number 21. It's throwing me off a little bit. Aaron Wiggins, the better Wiggins? I want to say so. Thunder box scores, though. Let's talk through some of that. J-Dub started out pretty rough. He was like 1 of 5 and finished 7 of 15. All kind of started with SGA on the bench late in the third quarter, hit some really tough mid-range shots. His 3 just wasn't falling. A lot of them were short for a while. He finished 1 of 4 from 3. Some obvious missed calls on that guy again. Don't know what it's going to take for him to start getting regular calls. I feel like we have to say this every podcast. I don't know why that keeps happening. But shout out to him for coming back. Played great defense, obviously. Hartenstein, pretty ugly first quarter from him. Didn't stuff the stat sheet. 8 points, 8 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, 1 block. Did a little bit of everything there. SGA, my God, he does it again. 32 points on 11 of 22. 6 of 9 from the free throw line. 4 of 9 from 3. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in the year of 2025 is attempting 9 threes in a game. He's doing that pretty regularly. Actually, let me see what the heck. Let me see how many he's averaging now. Dun, 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 dun. We're podcasting. We're podcasting. We are absolutely podcasting right now. 3-point attempts, averaging 5.7 a game. Not bad. About 6 threes a game from SGA feels right. And he's great. I mean, he's shooting 35% right now, about league average. He takes some tough ones. I think beginning of the year, I think we kind of all remember him taking some it's really, really tough ones. I would like to see what that stat is if you cut out the first couple months of the season, because it feels like here lately, last 2 months specifically, he's been much better than that. I have to look it up and see. But dude's incredible. SGA did it again. Aaron Wiggins, not the all-star performance like we have been seeing. He looked a little tired. A lot of his threes were short too. Finished 5 of 14, 11 points. Lu Dort, hell of a game for him. 7 of 10 from the field, 17 points. Great defense, obviously. Kenrich Williams, like I said, 14 points. Isaiah Joe, 10 points. Isaiah Joe is just like the dagger. Like, he comes in and caps off your swing of momentum and keeps you going in that direction. It's so nice having that guy. There's just so many good role players on this team that they step up. They step up when you need them most. One guy goes down, someone else comes up. You know, it's been Wiggins a lot of times, and tonight it wasn't Wiggins, but it was Kenrich and Isaiah Joe. Last time it was Caruso. Caruso gets hurt. Lu Dort steps up. There's just always someone stepping up when you need them most, and hell of a team. Any questions from you all about this game? Anything else? I'm gonna crack open this here mailbag here in a moment. If not, so much Lakers stuff I'm seeing on Twitter. I tweeted earlier, one condition of the Luka trade that we all did not notice is that they're just going to play the Jazz every game. That must be nice. The Mavs are still in flames. Jason Kidd dodging the media and post-game pressers. Came back today and said, I'm kind of paraphrasing, but yeah, it was a hard game. Players are going through a lot. I'm going through a lot. All right, dude. All right. In the chat, TPF Recoil says, what was your favorite Mark facial expression? Well, the one he always does, which is just the eye squinting. Connor says they're currently down 20 to the Jazz. No way. It can't. Are you serious? I'm looking. Oh my God, they're down 20 to the Jazz. Well, it's over, folks. Wrap it up. Lakers, we'll see you next year. Mailbag time. Let's chat for a little while. Let me bring up our Discord here. Question number 1 for our guy, Mur, or is it Muir? DM me and let me know so I know how the heck to say your name. But they say, although it's been a small sample size, what do you think the biggest weakness of this squad is now that our starting 5 is healthy? What needs the most work? My first thought is offensive efficiency, but with Aaron Wiggins being a great sub for Shai lately, I kind of feel better about it. Would love to hear others' thoughts and opinions. The Thunder's biggest weakness. Mur like fur. Hell yes. Now we know. Thunder's biggest weakness. Smoot comes in and says experience. Connor says passing. It is, the Thunder have the best net rating in NBA history. It's kind of hard to nitpick. My concerns don't exist. I have no concerns until the playoffs begin. And then I have a little. It's mostly because of a lack of experience. I have no concerns with SGA. I fully believe in that dude. But it is kind of like Nick Jordan says it, offense when SGA isn't on the court. That is exactly what it is, I think, for me. What does it look like when SGA is not out there? Where are the points coming from? We all love J-Dub. I love J-Dub. But can he be the primary creator with SGA not out there? He had a hard time in the Mavs series last year. We'll see what it's like this year. I kind of think that they're just so deep and so good defensively that everyone's going to pitch in enough to make up for SGA not being out there. Maybe AJ Mitchell is back at that point. He'll be a really helpful creator off the bench. I think Caruso is going to step up big in the playoffs. J-Dub and Chet will have their rapport down a bit more. J-Dub and iHeart will have their connection down. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but J-Dub and iHeart try and connect on plays a lot, and they miss each other on passes a lot. And maybe that's just me noticing the misses more than I do the makes on those passes. But I do notice that a lot, and they're working on that, and I think it's going to pay off come playoff time. Because a two-man game between them, like that will unlock J-Dub stepping up with SG on the bench. So that's really my only concern is like, where do the points come from with SGA not out there? And SGA is going to play more in the playoffs than he's playing now. So those minutes where he's not out there are going to be less. So it's, in the playoff, all your minutes kind of float to the top, and all your best players play more. Some of the more fringe players, like a J Will, for example, I don't expect to get as many minutes. So that's kind of where my thoughts are there, is a little bit of experience concerns from me, a little bit of scoring. Where does the scoring and creation come from without SGA? And we'll see. I'm at the same time, I'm very confident that this team will succeed in the playoffs, but at the same time, there is a little bit of nervousness because I think it's because the expectations feel like they're so high now. And this team has been so good on paper, good in every statistic. They passed the eye test. Everything is so good. Like the defense is absurd, historic by all accounts. So we'll see. We will see. Next question from Trav McCain. If someone made a biopic about this year's Thunder team, who would you get to play the starting five? That is tough. I thought about it for a little bit, and I couldn't come up with. It's hard because you have to come up. I came up with some dumb ones, to be honest, but I'm just gonna let it rip. You know what I mean? I got Chet, played by Colin Farrell on stilts, so like a really tall Colin Farrell. He just did the Penguin earlier, got in all those prosthetics. He can do the same thing with playing Chet, just except grow vertically instead of horizontally. Could see that working out pretty well. Mark Daignault, played by Tom Cruise, easily. They kind of look alike. And then Presti is going to be played by Daniel Day-Lewis. I've never seen a Daniel Day-Lewis movie, but I know he's like the GOAT actor, so I just kind of threw his name in there. I'm going to read the chat for some other recommendations. TPF Recoil says Idris Elba as iHeart. Gumby says Michael B. Jordan as SGA. That's a good one. Matt Noonan says have Jim Carrey play every person. Would love that. Ryan Boardman says not Mr. Bean for Mark. Mr. Bean can be Chip England for sure. He's got to be in there. That's awesome. There's got to be. Didn't Daniel Day-Lewis play like Abe Lincoln once? Maybe he could be Chet, since there's the crossover there. Good old Rowan Atkinson. Cole Martin says J.K. Simmons as Alex Caruso. That'd be great. That would be great. Here we go. Next question from Curious from the Discord. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate SGA's MVP-ness tonight? I see what you did there. And I won't. That's incredible. It was great. 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. I don't know what would make it a 10 out of 10, but that's it. Other questions? Do we have any more? Colombian Thunder says, at what point of the season, if any, does Mark stop playing around with rotations so much? The playoffs, probably. That's a part of Thunder culture, I think, is playing with rotations, because their culture is everyone gets a shot, everyone's a part of this, everyone has a role, everyone gets a chance, everyone is trusted, and a part of that means being ready every night to play. Even if you're not gonna, But be ready every night. Be ready every night. So that's kind of it's one reason why I think he plays a guy like Dylan Jones in the first quarter. He played like 6 minutes right out of the gate in the first quarter, and everyone kind of hated it, including me, but it's part of it, part of the experience. And truthfully, it's not like it has damaged the team or the record much. They have 9 losses. So if you take away, and they still won tonight, it is annoying to us at times. I definitely know that. Smoot, that was insane. Yeah, the regular season, like TPF says, the regular season should be for experimenting. Agreed. Connor says it damages my mental health. Totally agree. It's really like, hey, everybody, let's be pissed off for 5 to 7 minutes. Why don't we do that? Why don't we do that? Our guy Carrie just texted me. Oh God. Neil Patrick Harris or a younger Steve Kerr? Neil Patrick Harris is Sam Presti. That works out. Haven't seen that guy in a while. Let's see. What else do we have? Or is that it? Any other questions from the chat? If not, I'm going to wrap this one up. I got a book to go read, folks. I've been trying to read more this year, reading some Brandon Sanderson lately. I'm on the Mistborn series, if anyone else has read that. Smoot says, was this the best OKC quarter all season? Has it beat those Minnesota, Boston, and New York quarters? I don't think it beats those because those teams were better and those games meant more. Maybe not the Minnesota one, but the Boston one was awesome. I was at that game too. That was sick. Murray, you just started Mistborn. It's awesome. I'm on the 3rd book now. I've been reading those for on and off for 2 years probably. They're great. Let's check in on the Lakers. 84-104. That's tough. Sorry about you. All right. Gonna get out of here. We're back tomorrow. I think it's Taylor on the post game tomorrow. Hey, love you, Trav. See you in there. Great time as always. Good hanging out. Hell of a win for the Thunder. Hell of a fourth quarter. Be fun to go back and watch those highlights. See you guys soon. All-Star Weekend coming up, and then a bunch of games against the Timberwolves. Back to back. Subscribe to the Patreon. Scan the damn QR code. Click the damn link. We'll see you in the Discord. All right. Thanks again. Adios. And Thunder up.